The Stormcaller is here in World 0. This is the Mastery class of the Elementalist and is unlocked by doing 400 floors of Infinite Tower. But going over the kit, the E, Supercharge, applies the Supercharge status effect whenever you deal damage, and when an enemy with Supercharge dies, they blow up this blue ball thingy. The R, Chain Lightning, hits up to 8 enemies and can hit the same enemy multiple times, making this a very strong single target ability. The F ability, Storm Surge, is basically pre-nerf Mage of Shadows on a longer animation. This thing does insane AoE damage. And the X, Thunder God, is the ultimate. This turns you into a dual wielder for 20 seconds and supposedly reduces the animation of Storm Charge. And the auto attacks are a bit faster than the Elementalist. But is it any good? And the answer is yes. The Stormcaller kit combos very well to each ability, and the class is really fun to play. This class has insane AoE and single target damage. I normally open up with Supercharge, then Chain Lightning, and immediately animation cancel with my dash. You can't animation cancel your F ability at all, so you can only animation cancel your R ability. Then, once everything is grouped up, you just press Storm Surge, repeat, and GG. When you reach the boss, you can just nuke them down with your ult, and I found it's not worth using your abilities when you are in your ultimate. It's better to just auto attack. I'm a bit skeptical of Supercharge. People are saying that this effect is insane and carries the class. Here's me fighting the start of Labyrinth on challenge mode with Supercharge. And here it is again without it. There's like no difference. And in the time it takes to cast this ability, you can shoot like 2 to 3 auto attacks and do more damage. In single target, it's definitely never worth using this button at all because it doesn't do anything unless a mob dies. But the proc itself in AoE is not really noticeable. This status effect is probably the weakest of the mastery classes. The Mage of Shadows gets a slow, which is really good for Infinite Tower. The Necromancer gets hexed, which does more percentage-based damage. And the Hunter gets 2 status effects. But the Stormcaller doesn't really do anything unless a mob dies. Status effects in World 0 show up as gray numbers when they deal damage. Shock Bomb, this blue thingy, doesn't show any numbers when it deals damage. I'm not sure if that's a bug or not. But the status effect does do damage. You just can't see it unless you look really hard. So here, this Crystal Golem has 974,000 health. It has 658,000 before the bomb goes off, and then 616,000 after the bomb goes off, meaning it did 42,000 damage, or about 4% of the enemy's health, which is significantly lower than the damage of the Blazing Shot and the Necromancer's Hex status effect. So it's only really worth using this if there's like 10 mobs all grouped together. Otherwise, you're better off just auto attacking. And if you don't believe me, I did 10-2 on challenge mode with the Stormcaller in 255, playing the class normally while using the Supercharge ability, and 254 without pressing it once. The same goes for Winter Cavern. I did it in 238, playing the class while using Supercharge, and 230 without it. This makes sense because the dungeons have these mobs like really loosely spread and not really packed at all. And then finally for the Labyrinth dungeon, these mobs are really tight together, and with Supercharge, I cleared it in 218, and without it, I cleared it in 220. So really, it's up to you if you want to use this button or not. But enough with the complaining. Is the Stormcaller any good? Yes, it's balanced. It's nothing like the Hunter. When the Hunter first came out, the Hunter was absolutely terrible when it first came out. It was actually worse than the Spirit Archer, but it's been buffed, and now the Hunter is actually pretty solid. But this class, the Stormcaller, is definitely better than the Elementalist for dungeons. For Infinite Tower, the Stormcaller is only better on low floors, like floor 300 and below, but after that, the Elementalist has more value because of the status effects and the percentage-based damage. As for event raid bosses, I have no idea because there aren't any out right now. The Stormcaller is a pretty solid option for dungeons. It's not the best class. It is really good for some dungeons. It's not like the Mage of Shadows when that first came out. That class, when it came out, was game-breaking and just one-shotting everything. This class, it one-shots stuff with the F, but the F has a really long animation. These clear times can definitely be improved. I'm not a speedrunner. I use the Hunter as a comparison because it's right now a very average class. So the Mountain Pass on 3-1 in challenge mode, I did it with 237 on the Hunter and 230 with the Stormcaller. And then for Aether Fortress, I did it with 247 on the Hunter and 258 with the Stormcaller. For Volcano Dungeon, I did it in 247 with both classes. I'd say the Stormcaller is definitely good, but is it worth unlocking? That's up to you. Me personally, I hate Infinite Tower, so if I was watching this video, I probably wouldn't do 400 floors of Infinite Tower on the Elementalist, especially since it's not the best class, but it is a better version of the Mage of Shadows. If you do like that class, then go for it. But if you're a long-time World Zero player and you have absolutely nothing to do with your life, then go for it. Go ahead and grind it out. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and see ya.